Here is the best active NBA player at every height from shortest to tallest. The shortest active NBA player in the league today is 5'8" rookie Marcus Noel, who is currently on the Raptors roster. One of the only 5'11" players in the NBA actively is Jordan McLaughlin, who averages 4.7 points per game and is entering his 5th NBA season playing for the Wolves. At 6 feet tall, we have a close call between a 38-year-old Chris Paul and a 29-year-old Fred VanVleet. Fred is in his prime and just came off of a 19-point per game season. Chris, while still a great player, and if this were an all-time debate, he would get this spot no question, but I think heading into next year, where Fred will get a lot of opportunities on this new Rockets roster and is in the peak of his prime, he should be the one who gets the spot at 6 feet tall. The best 6'1" player in the NBA is Trae Young, who just came off of a 26-point per game season and is just 25 years young. A good runner-up for the best 6'2" player in the NBA today is Ja Morant, but this spot should still easily go to Steph Curry. Now, some sources do list Ja at 6'3", but many of the more recent sources list him at 6'2", and the same can be said for Steph Curry. Many sources say that Steph is 6'3", but more recent sources put him at 6'2". So depending on how tall you actually consider these players may or may not affect how they end up on this list, but what I am pretty certain on is that right now Steph is still the better player. At 6'3", we have De'Aaron Fox, who helped break the Kings' 16-season playoff drought by finally making it to the postseason last season. Fox came off of a 25-point per game season last season and made his first All-Star team and All-NBA team as well. At 6'4", we have a close call between Anthony Edwards and Jamal Murray. Jamal completed 6 NBA seasons, not including his injury, and Anthony completed just 3. It's easy to glance over Jamal's resume and give him this pick due to his ring and more experience, but I don't think that tells the whole story on who is the better basketball player entering next season. Jamal has better shooting numbers, but Edwards is the far better rebounder. He's basically somewhat of a Jaylen Brown with handles. Maybe not on the same talent level as Jaylen Brown yet, but the resemblance is there. And I do think his projection is much higher. So heading into next season, I will give this pick to Anthony Edwards. The best 6'5" player in the NBA today is Devin Booker. James Harden and Tyrese Haliburton make good runners-up, but James is a little too old and Tyrese is a little too young. Devin Booker is pretty much in or around the peak of his prime heading into next season. At 6'6", we have a really close call between Jaylen Brown and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. What makes this debate a little bit blurry is that Jaylen has been having a lot of team success with the Celtics compared to the developing stages of the Thunder that Shai is a part of. But if you simply compare the individuals and their talents, I think the choice becomes a little more clear in Shai's favor. It's still a close call, but Shai gets more assists, steals, twice as many blocks, and more importantly, averages less turnovers than Brown, which is more impressive when you consider the fact that Shai plays both the 1 and 2 spot, where Brown is more of a 2 and a 3. Brown rarely runs the point, and yet he turns the ball over more than Shai. So for this spot, this goes to SGA. The best 6'7" player in the NBA today is a really tough call between Jimmy Butler, Kawhi Leonard, and Luka Doncic. If this was an all-time list, I think we would easily give this one to Kawhi, then Jimmy, then Luka third so far. But heading into next season, I think this list sort of gets swapped with Luka first, considering his ceiling going forward will be on the uptrend, while the other two players are either going to barcode sideways or have a slight decline due to age. For 6'8", this one easily goes to Jason Tatum, though Paul George deserves a mention, but I don't think it's a close call. 6'9", even at the age of 38, the oldest player in the league today, I would still give this spot to LeBron James. Bam Adebayo deserves a mention, he's extremely underrated, but compared to LeBron, I still don't think he's at that level. And yes, LeBron took a step back athletically and defensively, but he retooled his game and is still playing at a really high level. The best 6'10" player has to be Kevin Durant, though Anthony Davis comes at a really close second, and Paolo Banchero is a dark horse for the spot in the coming seasons, though right now I think Kevin is the one who securely grabs this one, considering he's the most unguardable at this height. 6'11" is a really close call between Nikola Jokic and Giannis Antetokounmpo. Man, these two are always destined to be compared against each other. Both are the same age, both are the same height. On paper, they play similar positions, but on the court, their games couldn't be any more different. Giannis is like a lighter Shaquille O'Neal who can also hit threes, and Nikola is like a unicorn who we've never seen before. You can make a great argument for either, but just like in my best by age video, I am once again going to give this spot to the Joker. For 7 feet tall, we have the latest MVP of the league, Joel Embiid. This one needs no explanation. At 7'1", it's a really close call between Rudy Gobert and Domantas Sabonis. All time you can make a good argument for Rudy, but heading into next season, I think Domantas is the better choice. He just came off of a great Kings season, where Rudy's time so far with the Wolves has been somewhat stagnant and below expectations, so until that changes, this spot goes to Sabonis. Not many players in the league today are 7'2", but one underrated player at this height is Bobol, who currently plays for the Phoenix Suns. 7'3" easily belongs to the unicorn Kristaps Porzingis, who is pretty much the third tallest player in the NBA right now. He currently plays for the Celtics. 7'4" is a bit of a tricky one. Only 2 players in the NBA today are of this height, one being Boban Marjanovic and the other being Victor Wembanyama. By technicality, right now you would have to give this to Boban, considering as of this recording, the regular season didn't even start yet. But if preseason is of any indication what Victor is going to do in the regular season, then he would handily get this spot. So right now, technically it is Boban, but in the near future, if Victor keeps this up, he will grab this spot. So here is the best active NBA player at every height from shortest to tallest. Let me know what you think of this list and what you want to see in the future. Don't forget to dunk on that like button and subscribe with notifications turned on. I'm Rebound Rewind, and I'll fast forward to you later.